5, Sasol Rally. With rugby fever hanging heavily in the air, the sponsors and organisers of the Sasol Rally moved the start of this year's event forward by a few hours so that by Saturday afternoon, the competitors and spectators could join the rest of South Africa in watching the final of the Rugby World Cup. While the crowds browsed around the Sasol Jordan Formula One display, we found an interesting change to the Hyundai Motorsport team, with the winner of last year's Sasol Rally, Enzo Kuhn, replacing Billy Rotenbach in the driver's seat alongside navigator Johan Seelen.
This is purely an invitation drive, and I'm just, helping the team to develop the car. I'm definitely looking at something next year, but we'll see this year. Maybe I'll be out again in the same car.
The draw amongst the top seeds was interesting, with Jan Habig and Douglas Judd leading the two favourites in Class A, Serge Damso in the Toyota Conquest and Hannes Grobler in the Nissan Sentra. Nuno de Cunha withdrew his entry after his Nissan Sentra developed engine trouble. Habig and Judd mount the starting ramp, obviously intent on improving their dismal start to the season, their new Volkswagen Golf having finished only one of the previous 3 rallies after suffering suspension and drivetrain problems. Habig and Judd leave the start for the first of 7 stages that end in Sabi before the supper break. Behind them, Serge and Vito mount the starting ramp, intent on keeping their run of victories intact.
We've had a very good run this year with 3 events out of 3. The Sasol event, I think I've started 3 or 4 times. I've never finished the event, so I hope I can try and break the bad luck on the event. So to be drawn number 2, I think is going to be a problem tonight because there's no regroup this evening. So whoever runs number 1 tonight, I think they're going to have a bit of an advantage.
Hannes Grobler and Pierre Aries depart the start and enter stage 1 intent on a victory. The Nissan crew post a winning time of 1 minute and 46 seconds over the 3-kilometre stage. Not so quick through the stage were Peter Altersky and Alan Bissett. The crew rolled their Conquest in stage 1, losing over 3 minutes in the process. With the help from spectators, the crew got their Toyota back onto its wheels and out of the donga. The crew were able to continue, the car bent but running. Altersky and Bissett completed the stage in 5 minutes and 5 seconds, dropping to the back of the field on the scoreboard. The same corner caught Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley, almost ending their challenge for the Class C title. A close shave for the Uno of Paolo Pizzamusso and Mike Connolly. Not so lucky were Johan Clements and Brian Duncan, who lost over a minute when their Class A 2-wheel drive Conquest left the road. The dust was confirmed on stage 2 after the rally moved from Nelspruit to Sabi. Dry conditions in the area not only causing visibility problems but a lack of traction as well. Damso and Grobler post equal times of 1 minute and 44 seconds, 7 seconds faster than Habig's Golf. We go into car number 4 with Brady Dabner and Guy Hodgson.
Yellow, green. 300, T, right 4. 200, T, right 4. Right 4 with a jump. T, right 4 with a jump, and turn off, left 4. Turn off, left 4. Left 4. 50, right 4, now right 4.
This crew in their Ermelo Toyota Conquest 4-wheel drive have had a consistent season, finishing all the events with seconds and thirds. These results have placed the crew second in the championship behind their teammates Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide.
Narrow, square left.
From the tight spectator section of the stage, the cars pick up the pace as the road opens up.
Kinky, right 5. Oh.
Brady slides the Conquest into a pile of logs, throwing the car wildly out of control.
500 meters, okay? Just 500 meters. Keep it going.
A broken back swing arm makes the Toyota difficult to drive as Brady and Guy limp the Conquest through the remaining 500 metres of the stage. Behind them on the road, Enzo Kuhn and Johan Seeling pushed the Hyundai hard, winning the stage in a time of 1 minute and 5 seconds. The Class C competition, as always, was to be fierce, with Glenn Derman leading the pack.
Class C is always competitive. It's always very tight. I think Etienne and myself specifically. The other thing is Chart. He might be Class B, but we'll be looking to try to beat him. We look to beat all the two-wheel drive cars if possible.
Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding arrived in the Eastern Transvaal with their newly built Class B Golf, which has been built to the 2-litre two-wheel drive international specification. Third in the championship and leading Class C, Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley lose a few seconds as they overshoot a bend in the stage. Tony Ball and Marty Olivier contesting Class B in their Volkswagen Golf. Terry Brand and Jeff Tyrer have become a force to reckon with since moving from Class D to Class C this season. Since losing Cindy Harding back to Chart van der Walt, Paolo Piazzamusso is now Mike Connolly navigating for him in the Uno Turbo. Trevor Graham and Peter Chadwick have had a good season so far, currently lying 4th overall in the championship. After repairing the Conquest at the end of stage 2, we found the ill-fated and frustrated Toyota crew of Brady Davner and Guy Hodgson parked on the side of the road in stage 3.
Blew the engine.
Despite their run of bad luck on the event, the Ermelo Toyota crew still showed signs of a sense of humour.
I hate rallying!
Albeit tinged with a touch of frustration. But they were not the only crew having problems. Jan Habich's Golf broke a backswing arm in the long 20-kilometre stage 5, slowing their pace and allowing Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide to close the 3-minute gap. Deeper in the stage, the Volkswagen's dust prevented Serge from passing, slowing both cars and allowing Hannes Grobler to extend his lead on the scoreboard. On the very next stage, the same bolt broke, causing the same dilemma for both Habich and the Toyota team. Habich brought the Golf in on just 3 wheels, the left back wheel having broken off towards the end of the stage. Behind him, Serge was closing fast, and despite catching the Golf's dust once again, was able to post a winning time of 4 minutes and 48 seconds. With their overall lead now close to a minute, Hannes and Pierre had capitalized on what was happening ahead of them, but failed to match the Toyota's pace by 2 seconds on the stage. Jan and Douglas pitched in to help the crew repair the Golf, desperate to get to the start of stage 7 on time and keep their first place on the road.
Are you doing this, mate? Yeah, okay, you do.
57.
Frustrated by the visibility problems caused by the Golf's dust, Vito and Pierre compared times over stages 5 and 6. Hannes, having had a clear run through the stages, raises a knowing smile for the camera. Unaffected by the drama up front, Enzo and Johan had pulled the Hyundai up to 3rd place on the scoreboard. Behind them in 4th place, Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding. Within the 7 minutes available, the Stanbrick team had the Golf repaired and at the start of stage 7, so keeping their place at the front of the field.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
We joined the current overall leaders Hannes Grobler and Pierre Aries in car on stage 7, the final stage before the dinner break.
200, 100, long sweep right, keep right. 300, straight on.
Behind them, the Hyundai enters the stage.
T4 right again. 50 T4 right again, I think. 300, straight on, fork right. 200.
Enzo and Johan lost time in the stage when they took a wrong turning. While retracing their way back onto the route, the Hyundai got stuck, blocking the road for Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding. The Hyundai dropped from 3rd to 8th, while the Golf dropped 1 place to 5th. Terry Brand and Jeff Tyrer moved up to 3rd overall and now lead Class C from Lawrence and Paisley by just 2 seconds. Theo and Marty Fenter were posting consistently good times in their Class A front-wheel drive Golf. Their efforts had pulled them up to 6th place overall. With a long 3-hour break ahead of them, the crews moved into Sabi to service the cars and rest the navigators and drivers. For Serge Damso, it had been a frustrating 7 stages.
Jannie Hubbicks had problems in front of us on the long 16-kilometer stage. He lost a wheel, so we followed him until the end. We couldn't actually pass him because we couldn't get close enough. And then the previous stage, he lost another wheel. So the last 2 stages, we haven't had a very good run. So we fell about a minute or so behind Hannes now. So we just hope tonight we can make up some time.
Drama and retirements had promoted the lower order cars into the top 10 placings. Habich and Judd were down in 15th place, while Altersky and Bissett had worked their way up to 18th. Hannes, having had a clear run through the stages, now held a lead of just over a minute on the Toyota.
1 minute, 3 seconds is not a lot in rallying. If you, we can also get a flat wheel and lose 1 minute or more. But if you can keep it, it's a lot to catch. So I hope we can keep it through the night and start tomorrow morning also with about a minute lead. And then I think if the car held it together, it'll be fine.
Jan Habich took full advantage of the long break to strip and rebuild the back end of the Golf. The cars were to restart in their drawn order, so the Stanbic crew could remain first on the road at the start of stage 8 in Sabi. A dash through the streets of Sabi had the spectators lining this 1 kilometer stage. Hannes Krobler and Pierre Ari set the fastest time, covering the distance in 58 seconds.
Left and right. Keep left, yeah. Left and keep left.
Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding set a good time on stage 8, but emerged from stage 9 with gearbox problems.
Cindy, end of stage 9 and problems for you guys?
Yes, we've been having a great rally up to now. We've been going really well. We were lying 3rd. We lost about 30 seconds stuck behind Enzo when he had a problem, which dropped us to 5th, and we were hoping to catch up those 30 seconds. On this stage, we were unfortunately stuck in 1 gear. We did a whole 16-kilometer stage, I think, in 3rd. The problem now is that it's a special 6-speed box. We don't have a spare. They're trying to fix the cable that I think has snapped. So hopefully, we haven't got a lot of lateness, but hopefully they'll get it fixed and we can carry on. Otherwise, we're out of the event, which is unfortunate, seeing as it's the debut for this car.
With the darkness came the still of the night. Both Hannes and Serge were forced to stop in the dense dust. In stage 11, Hannes Krobler suffered alternator problems, which affected the Nissan's lights and the electronic management system. The time lost was enough to change the lead, moving Serge and Vito to the top of the score sheet. 1 stage later, and the drama moved to the Toyota service area. A bracket holding an oil pump which drove the 4-wheel drive and power steering systems broke loose, badly affecting the traction and handling of the Conquest. Engine problems had forced Habich and Judd to retire after stage 11, and Serge was desperate to stay ahead of Hannes on the road. Despite their mechanical handicap, the lack of dust on the remaining night stages allowed Serge and Vito to keep their 45-second lead over Hannes intact. Problems in stage 11 dropped Lawrence and Paisley down to 20th place, while the Hyundai crew moved up to 3rd position. 7 minutes separated the 2nd and 3rd placings, a testimony to the visibility problems down the field. Having been scored and regrouped overnight, the crews lined up to start day 2 as per their placings. Matthews Porser, the Premier of the Eastern Transvaal, flagged and waved the cars on their way. Disaster struck the 2nd-place Nissan on the 1st stage of the 2nd day. Having lost its rear right wheel in the stage, the Sentra limped to the end, losing a minute to the leading Toyota. With the pressure now off, Serge and Vito could afford to set their own pace as they moved into some of the most tricky stages of the rally. But sadly, the lack of competition up front had once again as good as ended the event with still 8 stages remaining.
5 Ks to go.
The Hyundai had closed on the Nissan, but still remained in 3rd place overall. Paola Piazzamuso and Mike Connolly had driven the Class B Uno Turbo into 4th place during the night stages, one of their better placings for the season so far. The treacherous passes on stage 17 proved too much for the Uno crew, who missed a warning on the route schedule and ended up off the road.
We, with car number 3 on the road, I think the first of the 2-wheel drives, and just couldn't keep it on the road. And the next guy to come past was Peter Halter's guy, and after slowing him down, he stopped within millimeters from the edge. I actually think Peter owes me one for this.
Peter Halter's guy knows the feeling, having rode on stage 1 himself. The crew had recovered well now, moving into 4th place. Trevor Graham and Peter Chadwick now lead Class C, having swapped places with Terry Brand. Barry Grobelaar and Thilo van Westenhagen, the current Class D leaders, and 8th on the scoreboard. Sergei Esterhuizer with Johan Barnard in their Class C Volkswagen Golf, now moving up to 7th place overall. Running down in the field after their repairs, the 2nd place Bankfin crew Hannes Grobler and Pierre Aries now driving for a finish. The Auto-Equip Golf of Brand and Tyra holding on to 6th place overall. Second in Class D, Turnus Viljoen with Andre Vermeulen in their Uno. Tony Ball and Marty Olivier remain in the top 10 and lead Class B ahead of José Ferreira and Danny van Vuren. Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide on their way to yet another victory. The Toyota crew having won all but 2 of the 9 stages on the 2nd day. Of the 23 stages run on the event, Serge and Vito had won 14 in all. A festive atmosphere awaited the surviving crews at the finish in Nelspruit. The Sasol Rally had been hard fought in the early stages, with the dry and dusty conditions making the roads all that more difficult for the crews. Serge and Vito have now won all of the 4 events run in the season so far. A valiant effort by Hannes and Pierre, who after leading the rally in the early stages had held on to the 2nd place to the end. A good placing for Enzo Kien and Johan Seeling in the Hyundai's 2nd national rally attempt. Class B went to Ball and Olivier, Class C to Graham and Chadwick, while Grobelaar and Van Westenhagen clinched Class D and 8th place overall.
Yeah, Lady Luck was not on our side, and we had a problem in the first stage in the morning. The side shaft broke and we lost a wheel, and we came out of the stage with 3 wheels. Luckily the service crew could build the car again into one piece, and it took us about 3 stages to get brakes again. But we were very glad that we were at the end and still in the 2nd place.
Tell you, when I started this event, my heart didn't feel too good because I've never had a good run. I've always had problems on this event, and for the last 5 years and since the Sasol Rally, been sponsoring it, I've just had bad luck every time, and actually it's very nice to break it with bad route. But anyway, and thank you for the team, the effort they put into it, and it all worked out.
The 1995 Sasol Rally, proudly brought to you by Sasol.